What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, good lord, man. I just this whole week has been exhausting. I've been trying to read any little news articles that came out, watching on C-SPAN. You know what I mean? Interviews, the whole 9 yards. Just seeing what was going on during Al-Kazemi's visit here, and I could just tell you this, man. The man the entire time kept stressing the importance that the United States recognize the sovereignty of Iraq. He said it several times. He wasn't just asking, he was saying that the United States, in order for us to move forward and do deals, must recognize that everything we do, that Iraq is a sovereign state. And I was like, yeah, that's what we want to see. Just do your thing. He's very impressive. Very impressive. I really believe that. Now, people in Iraq know who this man is more than I do, obviously. But he really seems to be here, more representing the people than his personal interests. Now, that's just my impression of him. And almost every interview, on different interviews that I've seen on different shows, he stressed it over and over. He kept saying that Iraq is a sovereign nation. You know what I mean? He said they must recognize that we are a sovereign nation. In other words, they're ready to stand on their own and be on their own and do business on their own, which is impressive. But man, all the different companies that came in there, you guys, I think it was something like 120 businesses altogether. So you know about the big ones, but there are several other companies that came in and spoke to the delegation that was there. And it was huge because you got to understand that you had different sectors that were here talking with different companies, and they had their group of people, each sector. So one in education, one in security, one in, oil. I mean, there was a lot going on all at one time. I don't know if you guys seen the pictures in one of my videos. Their caravan of cars was long. They were ready to come here do business. Real quick, you guys, you know this. Hey, precious metals, now is the time more than ever. With all the talk about us going to the gold standard, with all the talk about cryptocurrencies being backed by gold, I mean, you could not pick a better time. Again, I showed you guys an article in which they stressed that we haven't even seen a rush to precious metals yet. And I don't know what the hell they're talking about. If that's the case, you know what that puts us? Way ahead of the curve. All right, you guys, so just keep doing what you're doing. Thousands of you have went over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. Continue to go there. The link will be in the description. If you go there and you buy more than $100 worth of precious metals, use promo code Pimpy, Pimpy, and pick up a free ½ ounce of silver. We have Pimpy's investment chat. It's the same name as the YouTube channel. In here, we talk about investment opportunities, including, of course, gold and silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investment. No politics in here, please. I keep having to remove posts about that. If I keep doing that, I'll just remove you out of the group. Bring the political stuff over here to the hidden things in front of your eyes. We do talk about politics in here. We talk about current events in here. We talk about NESARA, Gesara. We talk about QAnon stuff in here. We talk about false flag events, 9/11, chemtrails, you name it. It's all done in this group here, okay? So let's get into the news because, man, I'm exhausted. I've been watching all kinds of different news channels. I've been watching interviews, you know what I mean, to see if there's any little good nuggets there. And I could just tell you this, just generally, nothing specifically. It was exciting, you know what I mean? I keep telling you that when I look at Iraq and Vietnam, I just don't think about short-term investments. But I've also, in Iraq, I'm invested in long-term. I told you guys about this before. I belong to a group of people. It was a closed group. All of us kicked in X amount of dollars. Okay? And we get what's called blocks. Okay? Which is good. Fine and dandy. Then we took that money and we bought shares off the ISX, which is the Iraqi Stock Exchange. That's what we did. And so there's not a whole lot of companies on the Iraqi Stock Exchange. There really isn't. So it made it real easy for us to just take the money because it's dirt cheap right now. If you think about the exchange rate, of course, you could buy a ton of stock over there really, really cheap. I think we have, over 500 million shares of different companies? Yeah, literally, that many shares. So people kept asking me about it, but back then, the groups were closed. So there is a new group. I told you guys about it. I will leave their link, once again, in my description if you guys are interested. Now, some of you guys keep asking me questions. The truth of the matter is, I don't control that group, so I don't know how to answer your questions. Let them answer your questions. I'm just telling you that I belong to a group. Now I belong to two groups that invest in the ISX, okay? So I'm bought into it, okay? I don't control the group, so I don't know how to answer a lot of your questions. So I will leave you the link so you can ask them what you want to know about buying into the group. Okay, you guys? So again, many of you asked me, and I've told you about this, so I will, again, give you the information so that you have an opportunity to buy in on ISX. Why shares are like literally pennies. Okay, let's get into the news and what's going on. We know that after Al-Kazemi gets back home, he is not done. Man, this guy is touring around the world like he's a rock star, okay? His next meeting is going to be with the leaders of Jordan as well as Egypt, all right? And they're going to talk about what they all talk about, how they can help each countries out economically, you know what I mean? As well as security, economic, and any regional issues that are going on there. I think there's a bigger picture going on that's not being talked about. I'm pretty sure that, Trump's aware of this meeting. I'm sure when they get together, what they're also going to be discussing is whether or not they're going to jump aboard Trump's peace in the Middle East deal. All right? The UAE was huge. And I had a feeling he was approaching the other countries. And sure enough, we saw an article from Saudi Arabia saying, look, we won't take any part of that unless there is peace for Palestine. But I was right. I knew they were talking to multiple countries over there. And make no doubt about it, Trump's a great negotiator. Let's see if he gets this accomplished. As evil looking as his son-in-law is, there's something freaky about, Kushner. I mean, this guy is just, he looks scary, but nonetheless, he has definitely got a lot accomplished. Okay, again, so we know there's a meeting coming up between the three countries. This is good. I don't want to get all into it because it's the same stuff. What are they going to talk about? Security, economics, and any regional issues that are out there. And again, they're all in areas of, especially for Iraq, energy is huge. They already got the oil part down packed, but energy is big. They need to get their grid up, is what they need to do. I couldn't even imagine being in Iraq during the summertime with no AC. I live practically in my room at home. I have the AC on 24/7. I go outside, I'm there for like 1 minute. It's too damn hot. I'm like Frosty the Snowman. Speaking of investing into the ISX, of course, when I see news like this, I get all giddy because I know we have shares in this bank right here. So look at this. Mosul opens 3 branches of the Rafidian bank and begins rehabilitating the central bank. As far as I'm concerned, they can leave the central bank alone. But go ahead and continue to open up more branches of one of the banks that we are invested in. So, of course, when I see this, this may not mean a lot to you unless you're invested into the ISX. I like this kind of news. I told you that, again, when it comes to Iraq and Vietnam, I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. I'm into these countries, both short-term and long-term investment opportunities. So I was very happy to see this article, continue to even open up more branches, and I'll be a very happy camper. So anyways, I told you less than 9% of the people in Iraq have banking accounts. They really don't trust the banks. There's a reason for that. They've been invaded. Money's been taken. They've been invaded by the United States. They've been invaded by ISIS. So, you got to understand that Iraqi people has plenty of reason not to trust putting their money in the bank. It's been taken from them several times. Okay, so nonetheless, though, they are expanding, giving them more locations in which they could come and open up a banking account. Again, I can't stress this. I'm a happy camper to see this because I know we are invested into this bank. Wrapping up its U.S. visit, Iraq's PM KADHIMI meets with Pelosi and McConnell. She's a cheese. Anyways, nonetheless, I would just sum this up for you. So, Congress had Al-Kazemi stay behind one extra day, and he did. And he met with members of Congress. So, of course, Pelosi was there. Devin Nunes was there. McCarthy is there. You know what I mean? So, they spoke about different types of investment opportunities as well as security, what needed to be done to make sure that Iraq absolutely is on the ground running and protected so they continue to strengthen. But again, I watched one of the C-SPAN meetings, and I love this. watching what he's doing. And he just says it almost on every open sentence. And that was, we have investment opportunities in Iraq. Before he said that, though, he said, look, we need the United States to understand that Iraq is a sovereign nation. We need them to identify that, respect that. And then he went on to say, we need them to come in and help us with our security, our economy, dealing with the Rona. You know what I mean? All those things. Stay there to make sure that they build up their own armies so that they could protect their own people. All these great things were discussed. It's the same thing we've already been talking about before. What needs to be done. And he spoke to Congress about it. Again, I'm hoping and praying that people don't make this a political issue and just understand that the people of Iraq are ready to do away with all the crap from the past and start rebuilding their country. And that we as a nation, the United States that is, have an opportunity to go in there and help Iraq to do this. All right? So, during the call, the discussion, they discussed bilateral relations between Iraq and the United States and ways to enhance them at the economic and security levels, in addition to supporting joint cooperation in various educational and cultural fields. Let me get it out. So anyways, again, we knew while they were here, we knew what they were going to discuss. I just was watching Al-Kazemi in some of the meetings. Sometimes he looked really quiet and to the side. Other times he looked very leaning forward and, strong. I loved it. So it's what I'm looking for in a leader. You know what I mean? I want to see that he's there for his people. And he absolutely looks like he's here for his people. It was impressive. Anyways, as always, we know there's still negotiations going on between Baghdad and Erbil. And they're just talking about where they are. It goes on to talk about the talks have been taking place in accordance with the Iraqi constitution and resolving the region's budget, oil and non-oil revenues within the month before the 2012 budget reaches the House of Representatives. I'm laughing because it's not the 2012 budget, it's the 2021 budget. All right, so I don't know why they put 2012 in here. I just started laughing when I saw it. Okay, so the Sunni and Kurdish forces did not vote on U.S. forces removal law. So the deputy of the coalition of Iraq confirmed today that the Sunni and Kurdish forces did not vote on the law to remove U.S. forces from Iraq, considering the parliament did not meet the ambition during the current session. In an interview, when asked when the issue of removing American forces from the country was raised in the House of Representatives, the Kurdish and Sunni forces were committed to stance not to vote on the issue, while the Shiite forces were the only tyrants in their opinion and passed the decision. Okay, so, you got your three groups of people there, and not everybody's on the same page. Anyways, it didn't make a difference. What they went on to say is this: it didn't make a difference. Because regardless of what they want to do and what they want to say, Al-Kazemi was here and they made a commitment. Him and Trump. Trump made a commitment to be out of there in 3 years. So it wouldn't have made a difference what law they passed. It wouldn't have made a difference at all. Al-Kazemi had already made a deal with Trump. Trump said they'll be out in 3 years. Okay, so yeah. Al-Kazemi sets out from Congress a principle to deal with Iraq. So he had a principle. What is the principle? There's sovereignty, of course. The Iraq Prime Minister Al-Kazemi confirmed on Saturday that Iraq is a sovereign state, stressing that dealing with it according to this principle. So he's not asking, he's telling them, you guys must recognize this. I told you one of the things he needs is for the United States to recognize the sovereignty of Iraq. And the entire time he was there, I'm telling you, when they were doing the interviews, he brought it up every single time. So he's telling the United States, you guys must recognize our sovereignty. And look at right here, it says this. The Prime Minister confirmed on Saturday that Iraq is a sovereign state, stressing that dealing with it in according to this principle, while noting that the strategic dialogue resulted in important points. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Go in there and say, I'm not asking for your permission. If you want to deal with this, you must recognize it. Al-Kazemi said in a statement received by the news that the latter met in the United States House of Representatives, and spoke with the Speaker, that the meeting attended by Republican minority, McCarthy, of course, and members of the House of Representatives of both parties. He added, during the meeting, they discussed ways to develop bilateral relations between Iraq and the United States of America and security, economic, educational, and other fields. And they discussed increasing the efficiency of the Iraq security forces and their combat capabilities in a way that moves the relationship between the two countries to a new stage. And the issue of displaced persons and minorities was discussed. Okay, so the delegation that went there, you've seen pictures. I don't know if you guys watched the one video, but there were carloads and carloads of people from Iraq to come here and talk business with people from the United States. Now, I might have brought this up earlier, but just in case I didn't, I told you guys they mentioned all the major companies, but what you didn't know, there was over 120 other companies there to sign memorandums of understanding. Iraq's open for business. If they could just prove that outside investors can come in and their investments would be secure and not have to worry about, ISIS or gained militias harming their investment in any way, shape, or form. I think, man, Iraq is ready to hit the ground running. I was really impressed with this meeting. Not that I ever seen other Iraqi leaders come here, but just, Al-Kazemi just coming here, doing what he needs to do, what's right for the Iraqi people, and stressing over and over again the need for the United States to recognize that Iraq is a sovereign nation. He said it time and time again. And so it's very, very impressive. I'm happy about this. To me, this is a great step forward. Look at this. Al-Kazemi stressed that Iraq is a sovereign state and dealing with it in according to this principle. I told you that before. Strengthens, so he said, indicating that the need to strengthen cooperation between Iraq and the United States of America, especially in the economical fields. So, come on, Trump, you guys. We need you guys to come out there and help launch Iraq into the international community. I was hoping for more from Trump. Right now, I think he's really just distracted with what's going on election-wise, and he's obviously got some tricks up his sleeve. So the visit, in my opinion, again, it talks about everything from ISIS on down to what the country's abilities. So, let's get into this just a little bit. Pelosi, according to the statement, welcomed the Prime Minister and his accompanied delegation, praises steps taken by His Excellency since assuming his duties in the government, and the efforts made by the Iraq government in the field of components and the displaced. So, Pelosi indicated that the United States supports the current Iraqi government and its national orientations, and affirmed that Iraq is an independent country. That's what we need, that they're an independent country. In other words, recognizing their sovereignty. So, Nancy Pelosi put it out there. Okay, affirms that the Iraq is an independent country and an important country in a difficult region, and that there is consensus to support the independence of the Iraq government. See that? And that there is a consensus to support the independence of the Iraqi government, rehabilitate the Iraq state, and support Iraqis' effort in the war against ISIS. All right? So they're putting that out there in the ether, so to speak. All right? So again, I told you, lots of the parliament people kept stressing to KADHIMI in a lot of articles, if you guys watch my past videos, they kept saying, look, man, the number one thing you need to do is make sure that our sovereignty is reinstated. When Al-Kazemi was here, he kept saying that the United States must recognize the sovereignty of Iraq. It's important. It's important for them to grow as a nation again. It's important for them when they're dealings with countries that the United States recognize that they are a sovereign nation. You can see in all these articles, he keeps saying how important it is. He said, in order for us to deal with them, it says right there that, our sovereignty is the principle behind all this. So he's there seeking it. There's no doubt about it. I like the fact that, I can't stand, I'm going to say this, but I like the fact that, hey, even Nancy Pelosi saying that we must recognize or affirm that Iraq is an independent country. That is, trying to recognize them as a sovereign nation. And that's what I was hoping while they were here. And it looks like at least, I don't know if they have to just come out and say it or not, but it'd be really nice if Trump did come out and say something about it. But make no doubt about it, almost all the different C-SPAN interviews, he brought that word up over and over. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm talking about right there. And again, even Nancy Pelosi saying that we must recognize their independence. Al-Kazemi saying, hey, in order for us to do business, you guys have to respect our sovereignty. Okay? Once again, we must recognize that Iraq is a sovereign nation. We need that to happen. So again, and here's another short article real quick. It just says that the Prime Minister, Al-Kazemi, described the meeting with the U.S. President Trump as a very successful, indicating that the economic relations with America were positive. The results of the meeting with the American president were positive and satisfactory between the two parties, and we reached important understandings, particularly security and economics. Kadhimi said in a press interview with the officials on the channel, the news in other words, the aspiration of the Iraq people were conveyed during the meeting. He explained that the withdrawal of the U.S. forces will be scheduled and deployed outside Iraq after the formation of joint technical delegation. So there it is, you guys. There was a lot going on. I might sound a little tired. I wasn't feeling good, but I couldn't help it. I kept just watching these news, trying to find if there was anything out there. From time to time, I was able to catch news, meetings, small meetings. There were quick, statements given by the delegation while they were here. I actually saw more interviews with Hussein than I did with Al-Kazemi. Al-Kazemi was obviously really busy doing what he needs to do as the big dog, but I saw a lot of interviews. There is a lot of businesses from the United States coming into Iraq, man, and that's exciting to me for more than one reason. I told you, because I'm invested both short-term and long-term. All right, you guys, so I just wanted to share this with you and tell you that, man, over and over again, I was looking for this, and that is an opportunity for Iraq to start rebuilding their country. It was a really good visit. Obviously, the work is not done. They made that point over and over again. There is plans for, after the election's over, for Al-Kazemi to come back again and visit with Trump. So let's keep an eye on it. It's still rolling, in my opinion, in a very positive manner. All right, that's it for now, you guys. Look, I'm just exhausted. I've been watching this for days, trying to find little Easter eggs or nuggets for you guys. Okay, so anyways, that's it. If you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. I can tell you that I was up to 51% of the people watching the videos were not subscriber. It is now down to 36%. 36. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much for taking part. I'll talk to you later.